Welcome back to the Lazy Money Machine podcast. My name is Erik ten Have, and on the other side we have...
Graham Brown.
Where are you, Graham, at the moment?
I'm in the UK.
Ah, okay.
So I'm normally based in Japan, but I'm here traveling.
Right. That's nice. So you can see, we keep working, keep producing, even though we're in different parts of the world, which is good.
You wouldn't know, would you?
No, we wouldn't know. Welcome to the Lazy Money Machine podcast again. We sometimes look at interesting audio we find on the internet, and today we have one of those. I'll play the first clip, and we can see what we think about it.
I think that personal ambition is worth fighting for. It really is something that if you don't fight for it, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And if you regret it, you can be an unhappy person. If you're an unhappy person, it's going to affect your family. So you can see the chain of command all the way down, that it can be pretty devastating. The common answer is we fight for a family. But fighting for family starts with you. Mm-hmm. So you got to fight for peace of mind. That's what I think you have to go for. What makes you happy enough in your life that you want to make other people happy?
Oh man, this guy has the best radio voice ever, yeah?
How does he get a voice like that?
Unbelievable. And he doesn't smoke, I think. Sylvester Stallone, Sly. I found this in an interview, and I thought it was really interesting. So let's rewind. What he says is that, you need to pursue your personal ambition. He says your personal ambition is worth fighting for. And he says what he tries to explain is that many people think like, okay, you need to fight for your family, you need to provide for your family. But he says if your personal ambition is not being met, or you're not fighting for that or not achieving that, basically you're going to be unhappy, you're going to affect everyone around you, and your family's not going to like you as a person. And I thought that was an interesting quote from him. And I really wanted to discuss this with you, because I think that's the basis for me, at least personally. I related to this as, for me, that's the basis of finding energy. If I do what I like, what is my mission, what is my personal mission, I get energy. If I try to live somebody else's life, basically energy gets drained from me, and I don't really feel like I'm, working at the best of my abilities. So what's your view on this, Graham?
Yeah, so basically he's saying personal ambition is worth fighting for, and that's what's going to make you happy. And everybody talks about fighting for their families and stuff, right? But what he's saying is what you should focus on is your personal ambition, because that is going to create positive energy for your family and good things for your family as well, right?
That's right.
So you may say, hey, look, I'm doing this job because it's for my family. Well, that's okay. But, if it's a job that sucks your soul, then, your family's going to pay the price, right? That point you said about if you try to live somebody else's life, you end up being happy. That's so important, isn't it? That's what we see all the time. So many people living other people's lives.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think, it relates to the work situation, but I think also if we look at what we've explained in our book, is also it relates to lifestyle, I think. So for me, at least, the lifestyle that I now lead, whereby I don't have a permanent job, I, work to build my assets, to build my income streams, and I live a life whereby I have time for my family, I have time for travel, I can decide what I want to do with my time. That makes me happy, and that's sort of my personal mission. That's what I want to do. And for me, it starts there. What is the kind of life that I want, and what kind of life would make me happy? And then I would work around, okay, so how do I find the income that I need to generate to live that life? How do you look at that?
Yeah, there's that age-old quest for happiness, isn't there? And I think, one thing I've learned, Erik, is that I think you set out in life, when you're younger, you set out and you start thinking happiness is a state, you're going to get to that state when you achieve this, this, and this. And usually when you're younger, this, and this is some kind of financial or career-based target, isn't it? I'm going to be happy when, I'm earning $100K a year and I have a house and my kids are in this private school. That's kind of how we often start out, because we just basically, magpie pick everybody's stories from around us, right? We see it on the news, we see it on what other people talk about in their lives, and we just kind of, we cherry pick that and create our own sort of fantasy about what we think is going to make us happy. But, when you get older, you find that actually these things don't really make you happy. What makes you happy is doing things, right? So, one thing I found as I've got older is that there are certain things I do that make me happy. I mean, on the very basic level, riding a bike.
Yes.
Makes me happy. I'm really happy riding a bike. I love doing it. So then you sort of engineer that backwards and say, okay, right, if I love riding a bike, do more of what makes me happy. How can I have a lifestyle where I get to ride the bike more?
Yes.
Well, you've got to start thinking about engineering your lifestyle, right?
Right.
You've got to start work backwards. Okay, so how can I have a lifestyle while I get more time to ride a bike? Well, I've got to be in control of my own agenda. I've got to live somewhere where I can choose to ride a bike. These kind of things, right? So do more of what makes you happy. Are you sort of conscious about the things that you do that makes you happy? Do you have a sort of a clear idea of those, or are you still discovering them?
I think I'm still discovering them. And it's funny, last night we had quite an intense conversation at the dinner table with my children, and they notice when I'm stressed and when I'm not being kind enough to them. Because if I've been busy and stressed during the day, working on my projects, working on the internet for the most part, they can notice that if I'm not, as kind as I could be to them. And they were really open to me, telling me, look, you should do more physical things, because we noticed that if you exercise, if you go to the gym, or if you ride a bike, or if you do things, you are less tense. And I thought that was, wow, they really observed that, and it has a huge impact. And for me personally, I can say, look, if I'm a bit grumpy at night, who cares? But I'm affecting the people around me. And I thought it was quite honest of them to just say, look, you need to do more of this, because it changes how you are as a person, which I thought, oh, wow, man, that was a good wake-up call, man. Get back to the gym, or get back to doing activities. But they were stretching it a bit further, saying, it could be other things than just exercising. They basically were saying, look, do things that you like, right? So like you said, do more things that make you happy even during the day. So then when you're with us, you're more, you're a better person. I thought, okay, that's cool. I have lots of things that I haven't spent enough time on, like, shooting footage with the drone and things like that, right? I have a few things that I really want to spend some time on that I haven't. And they were pointing out to me, and I thought, wow, that's something, that's really, you're right. You do more of what makes you happy, and it affects the people around you as well.
So how do you consciously go about that? Because the key here is saying no to stuff. We talked about it in one of our last podcasts, isn't it? Is that you may say, okay, I need to go out and do my drone now. But to do that, you've got to consciously say no to something else, rather than just load yourself with more stuff in your to-do list, so to speak.
Yeah, and I'm very bad at that. So I do need to create discipline. I mean, for me, what works best is... and that's a trick that I've picked up on one of my trainings, is that I just block these things in my agenda. Right. So because nobody is telling me what to do on a daily basis, I need to tell myself what to do. So the things that are necessary to, like if I want to make a change in my life, like now, for instance, another example, I'm learning how to play the drum. So I need to schedule like half an hour every day to go play the drum. If I don't schedule it, right, I'll get, bogged up in work and other things, and I wouldn't do it every day. So if I schedule it, even now, 1 out of 2 times I skip it. So, but even now, there's 7 days a week, there's this schedule that I need to do, and it makes me happy. Playing drum for half an hour makes me, very happy. It's a cool thing to do. So
it's kind of interesting in the way you go about that, is that you're doing the opposite of what normal people do, and you're scheduling the things that make you happy, like playing the drums, right? And you say work gets in the way. Yeah. Other people do it the other way around, don't they? Their week is scheduled with work, and then they shoehorn playing the drums into it. Maybe, once a week, or maybe it's like exercise as an example, isn't it? You're prioritizing the things that make you happy and building work around that, which is the opposite of what other people do.
Yeah, and I found
other people being normal people.
That's right. Yeah, and I found out, and I've learned that from you actually. I found out that if I do it that way, then if there is 2 hours that you need to work, usually a lot gets done. So that if I if I make time allocated to work a limited resource, I do a lot more things. I get a lot more productive. So I'm sort of forcing myself to be productive in the hours that I've allocated for work. If I don't, if I have a day, and I know I can see it, if I have a day with an empty agenda where I haven't scheduled blocks of things to do, time just disappears and I'm basically ending up doing not much during the day.
Right. And then your kids are telling you at the end of the day, hey, what's going on, Dad?
Yeah, because usually I've been procrastinating or, pushing things forward or, that's usually what I've then done during the day. And then I'm horrible in the evening. So I've got one more clip of Sylvester Stallone if you want to listen to it. Yeah,
that was a good one. Yeah,
I'll have another one. Let's listen to another one.
I am at the whims of the characters I play. That's who people think I am, not Sylvester Stallone. Most people, when I go around the world, it's like, hey, Rocky, hey, Rambo. It's not you. In one way, it's very flattering. It's like you've come up with something that they enjoy. But I know that if I gave them another Rocky, another Rambo all the time, they would sour on it. Even though I do things that aren't successful, the main thing in my work ethic is you've got to take chances. You've got to gamble. And if you win 51% of the time, you got it made.
So this is also another interesting way of how he looks at it. I mean, he's done Rocky 1 until 5, I think, or something like that, right? There's many Rocky movies.
Yeah.
But he realizes that he can't do them forever because people will get bored with him. And then he says, you just need to take chances. You need to go and do something else. And then the last bit of the clip is actually the most interesting thing that I found, which is if you win 51% of the time, then you've made it. Yeah. Which is so true, I mean, everybody's so scared of failing. But you only have to win more or you have to succeed just a little bit more than you're failing to make it in life and in whatever else it is, right? It's the same with relationships. It's the same with finding a life partner. You just need to win more than you lose, and you'll find the right person to be with.
Yeah, if you try enough, right? If you make enough attempts, you'll get there. Law of averages. What's interesting about Sylvester Stallone, Erik, is that I'll put him in the same camp as Arnold Schwarzenegger, who comes up a number of times on our podcast, right?
Yes.
They're not traditionally, classically educated people.
No.
Right? But they're very smart. They don't appear smart. On the first conversation, you may think they both are just meatheads, right? But, we talked about Arnie and Arnie getting into property and also Sly Stallone. I believe, I don't know if it's correct, when he did Rocky, he got points on Rocky, which is basically meaning that he got part ownership in Rocky, the franchise series, right? Mm-hmm. Rather than just when as an actor, he got, a share in the revenues.
Yes.
Which, if you think about it, was phenomenal. So he actually got paid, which is an investment in a way, is to go to a studio and say, hey, right, you can pay me a lot less as an actor because I'm taking a risk here, but I'll take 1% of the revenues.
Yeah, it shows the business-mindedness of Sylvester Stallone. Also, Schwarzenegger, he did the same thing, right? He also took a gamble on a production and won big time.
Right. These guys aren't, they're not MBAs. They're not coming out of Stanford, right?
No.
Or Harvard. It's interesting that they have that mindset, and financially, they're very well off. And they must both be worth a couple of $100 million each, right?
Yeah. But then I want to bring it back to the beginning, which is, he says, you need to start with your personal ambition. What do you want? And fight for that. That will make you happy. That will make people around you happy. And then you have to take chances and win 51% of the time. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, good advice.